What's going on, everyone? It's Chris Gunzz, and I'm back from my extra long summer break, rejuvenated and feeling great. My first guest back is one of the best strength and conditioning coaches in the world, currently working with Bad Chad Dawson, among others. Bad Chad's fighting this Saturday night at Foxwoods Resorts on the undercard of the big Showbox card on Showtime. I want to welcome Axel Murillo. Thanks for joining me, Axel. How's this camp with Chad been going?
Thank you, Chris. And camp has been going great. We couldn't have been happier with everything that was going on in this camp. You know, working on most of what we worked on is getting him back to his true form and making himself feel comfortable with being a light heavyweight. He is a light heavyweight, so getting him back there was the most important thing that we focused on.
And Chad wants to look impressive come Saturday night. There's no doubt about that. He came in a little chubby, looking kind of a little overweight for his last fight back in June, and that was a win over George Blades. And that was a full year after his sudden and shocking loss to Adonis Stevenson. He weighed in at 182, and he expressed that he wanted to be in better shape next time, and he looks like he is. He signed with Al Heyman, and without a doubt, he wants to impress. You know him better than most people know him, Axel. How close to the best Chad Dawson is he right now?
I think we're pretty much up there. That year off, it did good, but of course, on the body it takes a toll. We were in the neighborhood of the weight that he was at the time. Everybody knows that he was like 200 pounds that he was not comfortable with, and he's not familiar with. So dropping, because normally Chad walks around in the 80s, so he always comes to camp 75, and that's fairly easy. And he comes in and he's when he feels good, he performs great. Which is what we're back to now, because right now he's feeling great and he's looking great, and that's a big confidence booster. But that year, like I said, he needed it, but I think it took a toll on him at the same token, because not doing too much, and he's a family man, so he spends a lot of time with his family, working out and all, and that did take a toll. But he's focused more than ever now, and how ironic it is that where he started is where we're starting, again. I think he feels really great about being here and representing, Connecticut and fighting in front of his hometown fans, and to prove to everybody, because there's a lot of people that said a lot of negative stuff about him, for the last fight based on the way he looked, and he wasn't happy with it, and he knew he wasn't at his best, but now he is, and this is why he wants to be, way better than at home in front of his hometown, to prove that, hey, listen, I'm here again.
Yeah, and as a Connecticut guy, I'm excited. I can't wait to see him in the ring and perform in front of his hometown fans. It's been a long time. In retrospect, though, if you go back to 2012 and his win over Hopkins, at that point he's at the high point of his career. How bad was the move back down to 168? He never had to do that. He took off the weight to fight Andre Ward and try to upset one of the best fighters in the world. We've seen fighters lose weight before and it backfires on them. How much does Chad regret trying to drop to super middleweight and take on Andre Ward?
I think we all, because we're such a, we've got a tight bond as a team. So when that ship went down, we all went down with it, except for maybe one person. But I think we all, because getting there wasn't that difficult, but performing at the level that he performs at a different weight class, like a 168, he wasn't familiar with it. Because when you're sparring, you're sparring at your normal 175, 178, 170, walking, at your normal weight. But then when you dry down to the 168, that's, your body's going to totally feel, react differently. And at that level of competition, like somebody, the best in the world, Ward, that's when it was different. And it's just like a feeling that he's never felt, kind of like when he went up to 200 pounds. That's, it's a neighborhood he's going to that he's never been at. But luckily, he's a fighter. He knows how to fight. So, the level of competition that he had with George Blades was is not up to Chad's level. So even though he wasn't comfortable, he fought well. But I think that 168 move was just something that we were not we were not ready for. We weren't, like I said, we didn't know how he was going to react. He felt great, but being, in the business that I'm in, when you perform at a level, and then when you dry down, if you've never felt what it to get your adrenaline flowing and your heart rate up at 168 is different. Once you've dried down and you can't really rehydrate the next day up that bad, because like I said, making the weight wasn't that difficult. Performing at that weight was the harder part.
Yeah.
So he's got all the tools to do it, but he's just not at 168.
Were there any signs in that camp? I mean, there were rumors that he was hurt bad by what he was hurt bad in sparring. Was there any other signs that maybe it wasn't proper and maybe you should have even pulled out of that fight?
There was nothing ever to make us say we shouldn't take it. There was nothing like that. The camp wasn't the smoothest. So there was a couple of things that, me knowing Chad for so long that I wasn't too comfortable with. Like, I think our training camp for that fight was too long.
Yeah.
He's not the type of fighter that can go to an 8-week training camp because it's just, that's not how he is, and for those training camps, Chad never comes to camp just to work on weight, making 168. So there was some disagreements in camp that, we weren't happy with, but no sign for us to say, hey, we shouldn't take this fight. Actually, the only thing I wasn't comfortable with was such a long training camp. 8 weeks is just, it takes a toll on a fighter. When you got to watch what you're eating for 8 long weeks, it's tough. And it's tough, and it's something that he wasn't used to doing. He's used to coming in at camp and being light. He comes in. Oh, okay. Yeah, he comes in and he doesn't have to worry about making weight. 175, that's his domain. That's where he is. So, in hindsight, I think, like I said, there was no signs to say you shouldn't take the fight. There was nothing there for that.
Yeah.
But like I said, making the weight was totally different. Performing at the weight was totally different from it. It's just been so long since he'd been at that weight that it was not something that we were ready for.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that?
But of course, the whole team, we accepted that loss because we all did it, as a team. We made the decision and we all accepted the loss. But hey, if you're gonna lose, at least you lost to, what most people consider pound for pound one of the best in the world. I think it would be really exciting and interesting if at one point, now that we're back at light heavyweight, if Ward ever decided to move up, how that would be. Because that's his domain. That's where Chad belongs.
Yeah. Do you think that loss was the reason, and do you think that it was a carryover kind of in terms of his losing to Adonis Stevenson the way he did? The mental part is probably more difficult than the physical part is. Do you think that the loss to Adonis Stevenson was a carryover effect from the loss to Andre Ward from a mental standpoint?
As knowing Chad as long as I do, and that to any champion, any world champion like he's been, I think it did affect him. Even though, because that's something like that is always in the back of your mind as a competitor. But he's a competitor that never turns down anybody. He never turns down anybody. All of his fights have been in other people's backyards. No one can ever say Chad was afraid to fight or Chad ducked this guy, ducked that guy. But of course, for anybody, a loss always that plays in the back of your mind.
Yeah, it's true. And your job as a strength and conditioning coach is to get a guy in shape physically and also give him belief. And because of that mental standpoint, you're giving him a psychological boost, kind of. How do you?
Absolutely, because mentally, Chad knows how to fight. He's a world champion. He's been fighting for years. 13, 14 years now. Mm-hmm. So, I've got to give him the confidence to know that, listen, I'm not, my legs aren't going to go out. My lungs aren't going to give out. I'm going to be able to throw all my power punches if I need to. I'm going to be able to last all the rounds. Mentally, I made the weight easy. Mentally, I'm there. Now I got to do what Eddie Mustafa wants him to do. We've been following these. We've been on the phone with him, all the time through this training camp. Because of course Eddie's not going to be in the corner for this fight.
Yeah.
He's got a medical commitment that he had before that he has to take care of. But, you know, we've been on the phone with him, and we're going to execute his game plan. And mentally, that part, Dad knows how to take care of. You know, he's, like I said, he's been fighting for so long. There's not so much more that you're going to teach him, but he needs to know that physically, the physical part, I'm going in there with, physically, I got nothing to worry about.
Mm-hmm. And do you feel...
Not to mention, you know, based on the way he looked, and, you know, the way we looked at last time and the way he is this time, he knows, you know, I've taken care of everything to put myself back on top.
Yeah, and from what you know, you've been in camps with him before. How do you feel he's taking this pressure that's on him now? He's kind of, the pressure's there to perform at a very high level because people want to know what he's got left.
That's correct, because, you know, there's quite a few people who wrote him off, and based on what they saw last fight, you know, there was a lot of rumors out there that, oh, he doesn't even want to do it anymore. He's just, you know, there's a lot of people, you know, the Monday morning boxers, you know, the ones that have never strapped on a pair of gloves or even gone for a run, you know, that wrote him off. But, you know, being in camp with him, and you know, I've worked with several different fighters, and being in camp with him, mentally he's there. Mm-hmm. Physically, I know he's still got it. Mentally, he's still got it, and the hunger is there. You know, so I know that whatever and sometimes I read them, sometimes I don't, but, you know, coming from the sources, it doesn't really get to them. You know, they're not credible sources, the people who were criticizing them. You know, so, you know, some of the things that are said, you know, some of them are justified, but 99% of them are not. You know, he wasn't happy with the way he looked his last fight, which is why he wanted to. Listen, we could have easily just taken another fight at a heavier weight if we wanted to, but he said, no, I'm a light heavyweight. I'm gonna fight at light heavyweight, and which is why he, you know, as soon as we finished that fight, he was back at it. You know, he's back doing road work. You know, he came to see me down there in Kenner, Louisiana, and putting in the work to say, we're you know, I'm a light heavyweight, and we're going to fight at light heavyweight, and I'm going to be at 100% for this fight. So, you know, here we are.
And when he's at his best, he's definitely one of the best technicians in the world. He's got a lot of big wins over Glenn Johnson and Antonio Tarver, Bernard Hopkins. What percentage, when he's at his best, what percentage do you think he's at right now? Is he at 80%? As good as he was? Is he 90, 100%? How good do you think he is right now?
I'm going to say about, you know, we could have used, Eddie for this fight, mm-hmm. You know, so I'll say, I'll say about 90%. Yeah. You know, because, we could have used Eddie. I'm not replacing Eddie. You know, I'm going to be the one who's going to be in the corner with him. But I know, Eddie for so long that, we communicate really well, and I never step on Eddie's toes, you know. So based on that, I'm going to say 90%, physically, we're all there. But, we will miss Eddie, and Eddie will be there for his next fight. So, so we don't want people starting more rumors about, oh, he's switching trainers again, So, yeah, I think he's going to perform and show people that he hasn't gone anywhere. And based on what we're seeing right now in the light heavyweight division, he knows that these are all guys that him at 100%, he can beat any of them. He's proven it before, so all he's got to do is get back to where he was before. Sometimes we forget what we did to get there, and when we go back to that, then we get there again.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's what the game's missing. The game's missing Chad Dawson at light heavyweight. That's what we want.
I agree.
And Connecticut wants it. I can't wait to see it. I'm going to be there covering it live, and I can't wait to see it. Axel Murillo, are you going to be in the corner? Absolutely. I will be I will have the honor of being the chief second for this fight. Like I said, we've been in touch with Eddie Mustafa pretty much almost every day, and we're going to execute his game plan, and he's got enough confidence in me that, I will execute his game plan. And Chad has got enough confidence to, in me also to give me that job. So, we're going to execute, and we're going to represent Connecticut, and, God willing, his next fight will be in Connecticut, too. If the fans come out and support him, we'll be here again. Well, how many people are going to be here to support him? He's got a lot of family and friends here, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's got a lot of family and friends. This is my I've come through Connecticut before to visit, but I've never been actually here for the amount of time that I'm here to meet his family and his friends. And, and talking to a lot of people and going to, a couple of the gyms that we did go to, and they've got a lot of people that will support them, and there's a lot of talk about people coming out. We know that there's the casino and the hotels are sold out, so hopefully those are all Jazz fans.
Absolutely, we love them. We love them. What do you make of Tommy Carponzi, his opponent? What's the game plan? Do you want to give it away, or you keeping it top secret?
Well, we're gonna keep that on the down low because, like I said, we're gonna execute Eddie's plan, so we'll keep that on the down low for right now. We're definitely not overlooking him at all. We know he's coming to win. Because a win for him is a lot more important.
Yeah,
taking down Chad Dawson would be a huge feather in his cap. So we just got to make sure that we do everything to make sure that does not happen.
Does not happen. One of the best strength and conditioning guys in the world, Axel Murillo, working with a man that he knows well, and Chad Dawson, Bad Chad, coming back on Saturday night at Foxwoods Casino on the Showbox card. Can't wait to see him, and thank you, Axel, for joining me a couple days before it happens, and good luck to you.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. I appreciate you giving us a call. Thank you for the support.